Right now, currently it says male-female, and so there is no other option at this time.
For years, Dexter Rose felt uncomfortable choosing between the male and female option on state ID forms, penciling in a response.
You have to draw it in, right? Doesn't feel very affirming to have to draw in the box.
But now drivers in Pennsylvania will have 3 options to identify themselves: male, female, or X. A change Rose says is a big step forward.
I feel like self-determination is where I would like to see PennDOT move towards, right? And so it wouldn't require somebody else saying, yes, this person is transitioning.
Right now, only 7 states and D.C. allow people to change their gender without a doctor's signature. Most states have no policy, and others require a lengthy approval process. Pennsylvania policymaker Michael Geer is still skeptical.
When someone identifies themselves, that there's still some specific defining characteristics about how you might be treated medically, about how law enforcement needs to identify you, health insurance.
But the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation says this move was long overdue.
We're glad in Pennsylvania that we're able to offer a license that's inclusive of everybody, and it allows people to have something in their pocket that shows accurately who they are.
Rose says it's time.
That would feel really good to have an identification that felt more who I am.
The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation says the changes will go into effect next spring, and drivers will be able to mark X instead of male or female. In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Talia Kirkland, Fox News. It's been 1 week since production stopped at the Lordstown General Motors plant, and already the close-knit community is feeling the impact. Nisi's Country Cafe, located just a few miles down the road, is usually full of plant workers around lunchtime, but not today.
It's very slow right now.
Lisa Miller, a waitress at the cafe, says the cuts have been hard on business.
So I've said goodbye to quite a few customers that have been transferred.
But even harder for the customers she calls friends.
People are breaking up their families. You know, dads are going on ahead without moms and kids, and it's sad.
For 52 years, families in the small Ohio town lived and breathed cars. But now the only constant for residents is uncertainty. According to a General Motors spokesperson, 1,374 workers remained at the plant at its time of closure. Of those workers, roughly 417 have accepted transfers in other cities. 347 are eligible for retirement, and 100 will continue working through the end of the month, with the remaining in limbo. Economist Amanda Weinstein says uncertainty and potential closure will affect the entire region.
They'll see other businesses leave. They'll see families want to leave. It's not a place where they feel their kids can grow up and then work there.
January was our worst month since we opened.
Casey Watson, owner of Antiques and Uniques in the neighboring town of North Jackson, says her sales have drastically declined, with more customers coming in to sell items than to buy. But when asked will declining sales force her to close, she said no.
We'll hang on there as long as we can. I mean, you know, I believe that the sales will pick up.
The locals here are hopeful that the company will restart production on a new GM vehicle. In Lordstown, Ohio, Talia Kirkland, Fox News. Dawn Culp has been an emergency room nurse at Bay Health for more than 25 years, but says she never had enough resources to focus on human trafficking until now.
With this medical committee, we devised 5 different things that we can implement in the hospital setting.
The goal was to try to spot and rescue victims, training workers who are in essence on the front lines, providing educational courses for medical professionals with a unique algorithm to monitor cases. Authorities say Delaware is one of many states along the I-95 corridor that have become a hotbed for traffickers, who can quickly ship victims to new zip codes up and down the coast in as little as an hour. A problem advocate, Yolanda Shalabash, says has not gotten the attention it deserves.
Once people are aware of the red flags, they start seeing it, and then the question becomes, what do we do about it?
Hospitals will begin rolling out the guidelines within the next year, making Delaware the first state to adopt a coordinated effort to combat human trafficking. In Dover, Delaware, Talia Kirkland, Fox News.